Welcome back to our Difference Maker Leadership Podcast for 2023. We're using this series to share the stories and learnings of successful leaders that are making a positive impact in the world around us, with the hope that we, the total Dominancy community, all of our friends and family, are inspired and challenged to greater heights. So with that, I'd like to welcome today's special guest leader, Miss Karen Williams, who I continue to hear around town from friends and resources that she is making an incredible difference in the lives of many people through her work as a leader in education. So
awesome. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
No, thanks so much for taking a few minutes out of your very busy, hectic schedule, chasing teachers and kids and parents and all around, and coming to spend a few minutes investing with us. And really, with the hope that all that we talk about today is something we're paying it forward to others to learn from our experience along the way.
Well, of course, I'm just blessed to have the opportunity to be here.
Thank you. Yes. So before we dig into kind of the heart of your leadership, I wanted to ask you just to provide us with a bit of context in your story, what led you to the work you do and to today.
Okay, awesome. Well, my name is Karen Williams, and I'm from Mount Pleasant, Texas. I attended high school at Rivercrest, but I've always lived here, born here, raised here. When I was growing up, I had no intention of going into education.
Really?
No. And so in college, I got a degree in biology with a minor in chemistry, and my plan was to be a pharmacist. But then once I finished undergrad, I was placed on a waiting list for a pharmacy school. And so I was like, well, I think I'll go into sales. So I started, applying for jobs in pharmaceutical sales. Mm-hmm. And I ended up getting an insurance job. And I did not like it. I was going door to door. And so one day when I was working my insurance job, I went to a job fair at the college here. And the lady asked me, she's like, what are you studying? Because I was young, at about 23. And I said, I actually have a degree. And she said, what is your degree in? I said, it's in biology and minor chem. She said, we need science teachers at the high school. I was like, no. And she said, yeah, we definitely need science teachers. And I was like, I'll try it. And I was thinking 2 years tops. Well, 2 days in, I was like, I love my job.
Really?
I love my kids. And, I know I'm exactly where God wants me to be. Yeah. So, you can have a lot of different plans. But at the end of the day, it's God's plan, and it was, and I knew I was where I was supposed to be. I love my students. I taught, and I love teaching biology.
Wow!
So I did that for 13 years at Mount Pleasant High School, and then my superintendent was like, "You need to get your master's." So I went on and got my master's, and then I got called in, and it's like, "There's a job coming up available, and I think you would be great at it." And so he pushed me forward, and so I became an assistant principal at Francis Corporate Elementary. And, going from high school to elementary, everybody's like, it's going to be a big change, but I love it. I said, the kids are kids. I love teaching at the high school, and I love being an administrator at the elementary. And so I did that for a couple of years, and then I was pushed again to be a principal, and, I took that challenge, and I'm loving it. So I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. I believe that.
That's awesome. So, sounds like divine intervention.
Absolutely,
right?
Absolutely.
Because I remember you mentioned to me your mother was a lifetime educator, right?
Yes, she retired after 42 years in education at Rivercrest High School. Yes.
But after watching her as a lifetime educator, you had no interest in being
I was
an educator.
Like, you have to be very patient. I don't know that I have that patience, but it's just, to me, it's the love for the students. I love my students. They know that I love them. I love my parents, my staff. So, like I said, I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. So I wouldn't choose anything else.
Well, I'm excited to get into some of your leadership lessons learned, so to speak, because I noticed you use the word pushed a few times through your story. I was pushed to. I was content.
I was content. I could teach biology with my eyes closed, and my students did well. And I was comfortable. But, nothing grows in that comfort zone. Sometimes you have to step outside, and I needed a little nudge, and I definitely got that from my superintendent. And I'm so glad that he did do that, because, it does make a difference.
Yeah, thank goodness for the nudgers, right?
Absolutely, absolutely.
So, in light of your story, where you're at, principal of an elementary school, which, props to for what you do. I have an elementary school in my home, pretty much.
Okay.
Bunch of little kids.
Oh, okay.
And I'm glad to come to work most days. I love my kids. I love my kids.
Yes.
For sure. But it takes a gift to do what you do, and I'm so thankful for what you do.
I appreciate that.
So from your journey, can you share with us what have been some of what you would call your kind of defining moments or key leadership lessons learned throughout your journey so far?
The main lesson I think that I've learned is, at the end of the day, as long as you're doing what's best for kids, you can hold your head high and you just be proud of what you're doing, because a lot of times, you think about all the different logistics of things, but as long as you're doing what's best for kids, that drives me. Mm-hmm. So like I said, kids come from all different backgrounds and have all different needs and, and experiences. But if they know that you love them and they'll just about do anything for you. So, yeah, I think that's the biggest thing I've learned is just do what's best for kids and deal with the rest. So,
yeah.
Yes.
And that's so transferable, I think, to really any relationship or leadership position, right? Because now I assume a lot of what your job is now is not necessarily working with the kids as much as it is perhaps the other teachers and administrators.
There are a lot of different stakeholders that I deal with, and I think the most important thing is to be able to have develop relationships with people, because that's the biggest thing. Even those parents, even if their child has gotten in trouble, if you have that relationship with the parent, they trust you and they know that you have the best interest at heart. So the biggest thing is building relationships and, hearing everybody, being an active listener.
Right.
And, because a lot of times people just want to be heard, from students to staff to parents.
Yeah.
So you make sure you give that to them and, it'll be fine.
That is completely true in business.
Yes. Completely
true in business and in any organization, I think. How do you, I got a glimpse of, maybe just a little glimpse of how hectic your schedule is when I came to visit the other day.
Yes.
I had 2 or 3 people come out like, she'll be with you in a minute. She'll be with you in a minute. Hang on. It's like, oh, it's okay. I'm in a hurry. But how do you go about being intentional in building relationships and listening well, despite all the stakeholders to make happy, the hectic hustle of the day?
Well, to build those relationships, with my students, I try to be present. I'll go out at lunches. Sometimes I'll go out at recess. So those times I try to, and not just go out. I sit down and I talk to them. What did you do this weekend?
Right.
Just those type of things. When I know that they have games, I'll try to show up at a game if I'm available. Those things build those relationships. And honestly, a big chunk of my parents, I actually taught, or
really?
They came through the high school, so I know them, and so that helps
absolutely
a lot. And the same thing with teachers. I have my door open. I'm never in my office with my door closed. I have my door open. They know that they can come in and talk to me. They all have my phone number. They text me. And weekends, after school, whatever it is, I always make sure to respond. And it's just do what I have to do in those senses.
Yeah, make sure that you stay available, reachable.
Absolutely. And and I listen and I'll help. If they're out sick, I'm checking on them. If something happens in their family, I make it a point before I leave. Like, okay, I need to text this person. They're not here today. See how they're feeling. Just those intentional things help.
Yeah.
Tremendously.
So how do you think that those intentional things and those relationships enable you or contribute to your ability to lead the school, to be successful? And
well, to me, it's kind of like the students, learn from people they like. I feel like people work for you better when they like you as well, and they like you if they know that you care.
That's right.
About them. That's a genuine relationship. So that helps a lot. So.
Absolutely. So can you? I want to jump back to that word that you used, push, a few times, and tell me how that changed your trajectory. You mentioned that your superintendent, was that Mr. Marshall?
It's Mr. Marshall.
Yeah, you mentioned your superintendent came and gave you a push a few different times.
He did. He called me the first time when I was still teaching and coaching. I remember we were at a basketball. We were having a basketball camp. It was early summer. And I got a phone call, and he said, "Can you come by my office?" And I was like, "Come by your office?" and which we had a relationship because we coached together when I first started coaching. And I said, he's like, "You're not in trouble or anything?" I said, "Well, I know I didn't do anything." And he was like, "Well, yeah, I just need you to come by." And so then I get there, and then there were Miss Malone there, and another lady that I didn't know at the time. And I was like, oh my goodness, what is this? And so he, asked me, and then every reason I had not to do it, he gave me a reason to do it. And, and I'm glad that he pushed me to do that. He's like, I think you'll be really good there, and I really think you should do this.
Yeah.
And so I did it. I said, well, let me think about it. Let me go home and pray about it. But before I left, I was like, okay, I think I'm going to do it. And then I did it. And like I said, I loved it.
Yeah.
And, I was kind of worried about going from the big kids to the smaller kids, but they're all kids. And it's funny. They like the same things. Because I can remember even in the classroom, if a kid made 100 on a test, I put a sticker on. Oh, I got a sticker on my, and I'm like, and the little ones like the same thing. So, at the end of the day, they know that you care about them. Makes your job a whole lot easier.
Yeah.
So, yes.
I love that. I think that those two key takeaways, the relationship basis, is so powerful in our ability to lead effectively.
Yes.
Not that it's about us, it's about the students, right?
Right. That's right.
It's about the students, but it enables you to lead effectively. And then I assume, I would guess that idea of kind of pushing to the next level probably transcends through the work that you're doing today too, in the way you
absolutely
lead teachers
and that's
students.
what I try to tell my students and my staff as well. You can do hard things. They're worried about things. Well, that's hard, baby. You can do hard things. You can. I believe you can. And like it's true. You have to get outside of that comfort zone from now and then, every now and then. So
yeah.
And even still, I try to find myself doing things differently that I thought I would never do. Like, I'm terrified of animals, but I went horseback riding a couple of weeks ago, and I'm like, I'm going to do that, and I enjoyed it.
Right,
So, I just try to do something that scares me a little bit every now and then, just to try to get out of that comfort zone.
Cool.
So, yes.
Cool. So from your journey through life and leadership, I want to ask you, how would you challenge our listeners to make what you've shared today actionable, make your lessons learned actionable in their lives?
Well, overall, I would say just to be kind to people, be understanding, and to do things out of love, and I feel like if you do that, keep God first, there's nothing that's unattainable.
Yeah.
Yes.
Excellent advice. Absolutely. Challenge to everyone. So thank you for joining me today to share just a few minutes of your story. What's so interesting to me every time we do this podcast, doesn't matter what context a leader works in, so many principles from the bit that you've shared today are transferable to any career field, any level of leadership, whether it's leading in the home, leading in a business environment, leading in education, leading in a nonprofit. Those principles of establishing genuine relationships, serving one another, of pushing one another to greater heights, and taking on that challenging yourself. Those are things that anyone out there listening that is seeking growth and advancement or success in their home and their career, however they define that, they can apply those things and go and do it. Go and reach the next level by challenging themselves, by building authentic relationships and working together. So,
awesome. Well, I just want to thank you for this opportunity, and I want to thank Diamond C for all that they do for the community. You guys have been a blessing to my campus, and I just appreciate you guys.
Good.
Wish you well.
Thank you. That is what it's about, really. We say our purpose is to fuel the growth and success of our team members, our customers, and our community, and our pursuit every day of the week is to make that true and more true with every day that passes. So,
well, y'all are doing that.
Well,
so
thank you. It's a very imperfect journey, but we're always relentless in that pursuit.
Awesome.
So thank you so much again for sharing a little bit of your journey and learning with us today. And now to everyone out there that's listening, the challenge is to dig deep, to apply these lessons, and to go and, as we say at Diamond C, do work, love strong, and be the difference.